Oh, hey there. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over how I got this smoke effect with these butterflies, and also how I get the smoke to look like it's creating a separate image, in this case, these skulls, all in Procreate. My other videos tend to be more like process or like demo videos, like very loosely structured tutorials, but in this video, it's going to be more of a step-by-step tutorial. If you're curious about learning how to do this effect, then keep on watching. So we're going to start with these butterflies, but this technique can be applied to any subject matter. Also, I apologize for how I screen recorded this. I was an idiot and kept it in vertical the entire time. Next time, I will make it a huge note to not do that. So I'm creating a new layer and I'm just typing it as skulls. This is going to be the layer used to create whatever image it is that you want to look like is embedded in the smoke. Now, you can use any paintbrush for this that you want. I do think that, getting a more textured brush that's a little bit more cloudy looking would be best, but you don't have to, because later on we will be erasing some of the edges anyway, so it's really up to your personal preference on what you think would work best. Now I'm just drawing a skull here with a gouache paintbrush because that's what I like to use, but there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can insert an image if you want, like if you see something that's commercial free to use and it's like line art or something like that, you can do that and just go to the next step I'm going to bring up. Or you can even get a photograph and just turn it into line art. But what you're basically going to be wanting is something that is basic line art. Doesn't have to look super fancy. It just needs to kind of replicate the object you're trying to make in the smoke stand out. It doesn't have to be perfect though, because we're going to blur it later on. Hence why my skull here looks not cute. It doesn't matter. Now after that, I go to the eraser tool, and you can experiment with what textures you like, but basically you just want it to look faded and a little blurry and make the edges more irregular. I think that erasing with the cloud elemental brush is really good for this because it just makes it look just a bit more soft and cloudy like. I have the brush for the eraser set at 40% opacity. Around there is pretty good. Okay, so the next step is you're going to go to adjustments, and you see all those options with blur, select motion blur, and select layer. Now, in order to adjust this, you will slide just on the screen with your finger or pen or whatever you're using, the direction you want the motion blur to be. Now, keep in mind the direction in your head, like where the smoke is going to be going, so that it can go with the motion of the smoke. So for instance, if the smoke is going in the upper right region, then you're going to want the motion blur to be at that same diagonal angle to the upper right. Okay, so this part we're going to be putting smoke in our painting. Now, you can either paint the smoke the way you want it to be, or you can insert a free-to-use image of smoke into your painting and blend it in. Whatever way you want to do it is fine. I mean, really. This method, I am going to insert fancy looking smoke, or you can get a downloadable smoke stamp that you can use too. Either method is fine. What we're going to do is just create how the smoke looks and blend it with the skull. That's what I'm going to be showing you here. If you guys want a video on how to paint smoke itself, that's like a whole separate tutorial. I'm just using this to show you this blending method, essentially. Now, what we're going to do is select the smudge tool, go into elemental brushes, and select the smoke brush. After selecting the smoke brush for the smudge tool, we're going to be on the layer that the skull is on, or whatever your object that you're trying to embed into smoke is, and smudge that into the smoke that's already there. And be strategic about how you smudge this, because you want it to blend into the natural movement of the smoke. So for instance, with this smoke, I made it look like it's coming out of the eye socket kind of, so I'm blending that into that bottom part of the smoke. So yeah, the rest of this is pretty experimental. Just kind of pay attention to the movement of the smoke and just blend it with the direction of that so it looks natural. So now that we know how to create images within the smoke, how do we make it look like the smoke is coming off of a tangible object, animal, whatever it is you want smoke to come out of? Well, it's pretty much the same smudging method, but I'll just show you because it is different when there's colors involved and things like that. So I'm going to show the layer that has my smoke I want to blend this butterfly into. And when you tap on that layer in the layers panel, you want to select alpha lock. And that basically means that you can paint inside whatever is painted on that layer without it leaving any of the edges, if that makes sense. So let's say, for example, if that layer that is set to alpha lock has a circle painted on it, you can only paint inside the lines of that circle. So after setting the layer to alpha lock, what we're going to do is select any brush you want. It truly does not matter. And after selecting whatever brush you want, you're going to color in the smoke to match where it is touching the object you want the smoke to come from. So for me, for instance, it's coming out of this red and black butterfly. So I'm going to incorporate the colors red and black into the smoke. So here I'm just selecting the size of the brush I want to use, and I'm just going over the butterfly and selecting the colors I want for where the smoke is going to meet the butterfly wings. And then I'm just going to color it in however I want. For this next step, you want to make sure that basically whatever your equivalent of the butterfly is, the object that you're going to make the smoke come out of, is not on alpha lock, because if you were to use this smudge technique on it, it's not going to leave the perimeter of the painting, and you're just going to smudge all the colors inside of it, and you don't want that. Now, you're going to select the smudge tool, use the smoke elemental brush, and basically what you're going to do is look at the smoke versus the colors in the butterfly. I'm going to drag anywhere I want that is black to the area that is black in the smoke, and the same with the red. And you can get really experimental with this. It's really up to you. Doing this really adds a nice three-dimensional aspect to it and really makes it look like it's disintegrating into smoke versus just like a 2D looking painting with smoke slapped on top of it. And yeah, this is how mine turned out. It really helps to have a stylus or a pen that has a really good pressure sensitivity for this. So also keep that in mind, but you can get a lot of cool details with it. The lighter you smudge, the thinner the smoke is going to twirl into. Yeah, you can get a lot of cool effects with this. So I really hope that this tutorial helped in any way, shape, or form. If this tutorial helped you and you would like to see more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you just didn't like it, then thumbs down. I don't know. You live your life, whatever. And I'll see you next week. Bye!